Hey guys, I'm back. I've got a project today. You guys have probably seen this a million times, but I've got a 2012 Chevy Malibu, and it's been in a couple other videos, so it's almost famous now um, for a brake issue, which seems to be good right now. Um, but it's got a headlight problem. This car it eats headlights. But I did the last time I ate a headlight, it was an issue with the ground wire. Much brighter when you got the grounds hooked up. So not sure what happened, but it's got I don't know, a couple 100,000 miles on it. The body's starting to rust out a little bit. Um, Anyways, we're gonna try and do a headlight on this. Like I said, you guys have probably seen a lot of them, but this is gonna be my take of a video for it. So. Um, it sucks. I don't know why we can't make a simple headlight where we can get to it without taking the. You gotta take the inner fender out. You gotta take part of the front bumper off of it. You gotta take there's a cover over the core support as well that you gotta take off, or at least get it loosened up so you can pull the front fender off of it, and then the headlight pulls out. And pretty much all of it is 10 millimeter bolts, I believe. I'll double check that once I get started on it. But like I said, this car used to it's a headlight eat machine, so I'm not for sure what's going on with it, but I'm gonna double check some wires on it as well. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. It's been a while since we've changed headlights on this one, so I'm gonna change out. I did find one in the toolbox, so I do have one extra laying around. So I think it's an H11. It's a low beam headlight. So I'm going to head out here. See, I'll try and get you guys set up on a tripod so you can see the frustrations going through popping these little plastic clips out on the inner fenders. And then I think there's one 10 millimeter bolt behind that holds the headlight in. And then there's 10 millimeters that go across the top of the core support, I think, to hold the core support on. And then you can just pop the fender out. I think there's two little I don't know what they're called exactly, but part of the where the bumper goes back into the front fender on it. But there's little clips on there. But I'll try and walk you guys through this the best I can. Like I said, there's a ton of videos out there because that's how, of course, I learned how to do it, was digging through YouTube videos and just seeing how everybody else is doing it, and evaluating the 2 or 3 videos that I watched, getting the best way to do it, and then doing my own way. So pretty much overall, they're all the same way. You still have to take this and that apart to be able to get to the flipping headlight. But anyway, that's what we're gonna do today. It's a little warm here in Nashville today, so I got the air conditioner on in the garage and a couple fans blowing because it's I just looked at the temperature. It is 90 degrees with a heat index right now at 1 o'clock of 99. And it's supposed to be like 105 or something again today. So we'll see how long I stay out here, but we're going to try and get this done today. I don't think it's going to take too long. I've done a few of these already. So let me get you set up on a tripod, see how that works out, and you can see what I'm cussing. Alright guys, let me give you a quick walkthrough of what I've just went through. You kind of got to see it, but I don't know if I'll leave the video. So these are our 10 millimeter bolts that go across here to hold this cover on. There are 2 of these plastic little clips. You pull the top part off of it. Here's what they look like on there. So you get underneath the corner of it, you pry it out, and then it comes up, and then it stops at the top. And then once you push them back in there, then the bottom of that expands out, and it kind of helps hold it. Well, it's supposed to hold it in there. These are old and wore out, but it's still working. But that's what they're supposed to look like, and they go up here in the front on this side. But you pull the top. Well, there you go. So you pull the top of it off, and it just pops up, and then you're able to pull the rest of this out. Now, what I have found out that I cannot find is my tool to pry these flipping little plastic clips out of here. So these little boogers right here, let me see, I can get a good idea. So these boogers right here, they go inside these plastic on the inner fender and hold them in there. So they just push in and push out, but they got these little, I don't know what you guys want to call them, but these help hold these in here. So you got a couple of those. I think I took 4 of them out. Actually, I took 3 of them out and ended up breaking one of them. So I got to go find another one in the garage. And then up inside this area, I don't know if you guys can see that very well or not, but up in here, there's a 10 millimeter bolt that you have to take out up in there. And then on the side, there is also a 10 millimeter bolt that goes here that holds this light in. And then once you get that off, this little clip right here, which has been broke for a while, it just pulls out because it lines up inside there. And then once you pull that out, and then you can, I'm able to anyway, without taking the whole headlight out, and get down into your headlight down in here. So you got a couple inches right here, but that's how it all works. And then once you get it popped off there, there's, well, let me go back to the fender. The fender's got to come off too, so you can get the headlight. So you got these grooves, these tabs that go underneath the headlight once you get the headlight back in, and then it just pushes back underneath there. This is where this 10 millimeter bolt goes. It's up underneath here that holds this. And then here, with this area, you've got this that kind of lines up inside there that holds that from together, and it goes, it kind of slides in these grooves a little bit, so kind of holds it all together, so it just snaps together. And the first time I've done it, it was like I really very hesitant on ripping this apart. But anything you guys seen on these videos on these front bumpers, unfortunately you just grab a hold of them and kind of give a quick tug, and it comes apart. So I did put the new headlight in it, and then I checked it just to make sure it was good to go. So this is what I put in there. I had one of these left over from the last project I did with the other side, so that's pretty much it. I'll just put it all back together. Let me see how many. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 10 millimeter bolts that go across the front of this that hold it together. And I've got one that's out from underneath the back side of that fender. Mine was a bit of a booger because it was rusted up pretty good, so I should have got my old PB blaster out, but I didn't. I went and got a wrench and just slowly wrenched it out. So you'll probably see that at the struggle, the first of this video when I started doing it. So pretty much just realigning the light and bolting this 10 millimeter back together over here, and then I just slipping the fender back together, or the nose piece into the fender, and then that's where it's at. So I don't know why it's gotta be so difficult, but I mean, these things are so compact, there's no way, I don't know if you can see it with the shadows and stuff, but there's no way I can get my hand back in there, plus the core support on there on either side. They are really just a pain in the rear. But that's how it works.
Not really that big of a deal. It didn't take me too long, and I'm going to speed through the video of me wrenching through this stuff. I just thought I'd walk you guys through because sometimes you don't get the details. They do make a tool, which I cannot find, for these clips as well. So they got it's kind of, I don't know, it's got a little wedge that kind of goes in there around this, so you can get underneath of this, and then you just pry it out, and then it just pops out. Well, it just doesn't pop out because you got these grooves on here. It's kind of a booger, but anyway, I've got a tool somewhere. Of course, I could not find it, so I'll show you what I used. I used a pair of side cuts, and I was careful about using it just so it would pop them off, but it's got a little bit of an angle to them, so I was able to get underneath there and just use the pressure of it and pull them out. Now I also have this handy little tool right here. It worked, but it didn't get down in there deep enough. If I were to trim this out a little bit, it would have been pretty much the same thing as what my tool that I cannot find would look like, except it would have a screwdriver handle on it instead of a pry bar. Well, sorry guys, this is probably called something else, but we pry nails out with it, and I know for a carpenter this has got a name. To me, it's a pry bar. So, and right now it's actually a I don't even know what you call those little clips, but that's what I use. But it's kind of pretty much the same idea. This would go right around the edges of it. Not a very good picture of it, but that would go right around the edge of that, and then you just pry it up and it pops right out, kind of. So that's how that would work. So I'm gonna set this down, reassemble this thing, and hopefully there's no issues with going back together. But you got, like I said, the biggest issue is just getting it pulled out of here, and it just got this little clip right here on the back of this light, and it's got a little alignment tool, or alignment, not tool, sorry, a little alignment hole up there that goes back into. But it's not really too bad. It's just once you figure it out and just understand you got to pop that front bumper off there just very carefully. But yeah, I've had it off here a couple times, so by now it should be on here with some Velcro as much as I've done this. So, all right, I'll set you guys down here, and then I'm going to finish putting this back together. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up. Wasn't too bad. Like I said, the biggest fear of it was when I first did it was going to be just pulling the fender off of the front bumper. And once I got that figured out, it wasn't going to do too much damage once you figured out how it clipped together. And then you just popped it apart. So that was it. Other than that, I got knocked a little rust off of it, so the gas mileage should be a little bit better with it now. Not that I worry about it. You just drive it till it's empty and you refill. So, guys, that's gonna wrap this up. I don't know what else to put with the video. As far as tools, it's a 10 millimeter, a small straight screwdriver. Thankfully, I've got a small 1/4 inch drive ratchet set that I could use, but I also had an impact too, so that also made it a little bit better, a little bit easier to use. Sped it up a little bit, but you can get by with just a regular ratchet. And then of course that tool I can't find. You just have to pry those little tabs off there, little plastic tabs that hold your inner fenders in. Once that you pop those out, they sell them at any parts store. They sell them by the usually a universal will work, a package of them. Usually
I don't know, depends on how big it is. I bought them with 5 or 6 in a package, and they got different sizes in there. Most of the time they'll work, so no big deal there. Just buy those and stick them back in there if you do cut one off. So you got to have them in there, at least a couple to hold your fenders in. So they're all plastic. So, all right, guys. Not said it for a while on the last couple of videos, but if you guys like the content, like, subscribe, share if you want, even comment. I had a guy a couple days ago comment a couple times about them, some of the videos. It was great information. So, I don't know. It's like a new kid here. I keep looking at the video count and whatever you guys want to think about that, but I just pretty cool with and I don't have many subscribers, but it's just it's funny how some of these videos go crazy and some of them don't. And like I said, it's just pretty cool to think that I'm making this stuff and trying to do my best and learning all this stuff on how some of these guys do this every day. It's just amazing. So anyway, if you guys like it, comment, subscribe, and if there's anything you guys want to see more of, don't hesitate, give me a comment or let me know. I do have Instagram, which I'm not familiar with too much, and I also have a Facebook page, and I don't do too much Facebook paging on this channel either. So I do have those, so if you guys are interested, follow me on there as well. Just let me know. It's easier for me to post stuff up on Facebook, but it doesn't seem like I put much on there. So, but you guys see anything you like, you want to talk about anything in the background that I've got around here, because I still got a lot of stuff I have not even talked about yet, and still really need to work on. Just every day, just trying to keep up with something around here. So, all right, guys, that's gonna wrap this up. So, if you guys have any questions about anything, just comment, subscribe, and share if you like it. I'll talk to you guys on the next one.